Picking up the story, while I was away from home, a guy named Mark Hayes, the local team leader, took advantage of my absence. He brought a group of village officials and his lackeys straight to my cabin to cause trouble for my wife. They started mocking and insulting the women the moment they arrived. Mark sneered, making crude jokes, acting like he owned the place. He even openly said that once he got rid of me, both women would belong to him. It wasn't just arrogance, it was pure bullying. Right then, Ryan came running over, completely panicked. The moment he saw Mark and his men surrounding the cabin, he dropped to his knees in front of Emily and started apologizing. Turns out, he had taken the pork leg I gave him to another family, and that woman had tried to sell it to Mark for money. In the process, she revealed everything. My hunting, my trip to town to sell meat. All of it. Now at that time, selling hunted meat privately was still a gray area. If someone wanted to make trouble, they could easily accuse you of illegal trading. And that's exactly what Mark came for. He wanted to catch me in the act and lock me up. For days, Emily stayed calm. Even though she was pregnant, she stood her ground and told them to leave the cabin. She warned them that if anything happened to her, they wouldn't be able to take responsibility. So Mark and his group had no choice but to wait outside in the freezing cold. They waited there for over 2 hours in the snow, shivering in the wind. When I finally came back and saw them, I wasn't surprised at all. Honestly, I had already expected this. Based on what I knew about Mark, he was the kind of man who bullied the weak but feared the strong. So I decided to teach him a lesson. I walked toward them carrying a Type 56 rifle on my shoulder, acting completely relaxed. From a distance, I even greeted him loudly. At first, they didn't realize what I was holding, but then someone shouted, "Wait! Is that a submachine gun?" Before they could react, I fired a burst. The bullets hit the ground right at their feet, perfectly controlled. Dirt and snow flew everywhere. Some of them were so scared they almost collapsed. Mark himself was shaking like a leaf. He stuttered, asking what I was doing. I scratched my head and said casually, "Sorry, first time using this gun. Yes, it went off by accident." Then I fired again, another burst right at their feet. At that point, they completely broke. Their faces turned pale, their legs trembling. The so-called village bullies looked like frightened kids. Seeing that the message was clear, I stopped wasting bullets and smiled. "So, what brings all of you to my place?" Now, Mark didn't dare mention anything about illegal trading. Instead, he quickly changed his tone, saying they were just passing by and wanted to remind me to be careful. Then he brought up the accusation that someone reported I sold my game instead of turning it in. I looked at him and said calmly, "You recognize this gun, right? And Type 56, do you think just anyone can get one of these?" Then I showed them my permits, hunting license, firearm license. I explained that yes, I sold the meat, but I sold it cheaply to a military factory to help improve workers' meals. That wasn't illegal trading. The moment they heard military factory, everything changed. They were stunned. Suddenly, I wasn't someone they could mess with anymore. Mark immediately backed down, blaming everything on rumors. He even started acting friendly, saying he came to check if my family needed anything. I didn't miss the chance. I told him we were short on rice and flour, and that I'd appreciate it if he could send some over. He forced a smile and agreed, even though it clearly pained him. Then I added one more thing. I mentioned that the carpenter helping me hadn't been paid yet. If that was considered illegal, shouldn't the village be praising him instead? Mark nodded quickly, saying yes. Of course, they would promote him as a good example. After that, I brought out some food I bought from town, steamed buns and fried dough sticks, and went back inside. Emily looked at me with relief. Ever since I cut ties with my family, she had noticed I'd changed. I took better care of myself, I cooked, and most importantly, I protected her. I reassured her everything was fine and told them to heat up the food, then I stepped back outside. This time, Mark approached me with a completely different attitude. He tried to act friendly, even flattering me, saying he didn't expect me to have connections with county officials. I casually handed out premium cigarettes to everyone there. They were so shocked they didn't even dare to smoke them, just quietly put them in their pockets, saving them for special occasions. Mark kept talking, trying to repair the relationship, even mentioning he'd bring me a bottle of top-quality liquor during the new year. I just smiled and brushed it off. Eventually, he realized I was giving him a way out. So he took it. He said they wouldn't disturb me anymore, and even allowed the carpenter to keep working for me instead of returning to village duties. Just like that, the group that came to arrest me left quietly, like nothing had happened. And from that moment on, everyone in the village understood one thing. I was no longer someone they could bully.